Good morning, good morning, good morning. I am the Down Under Maker. How is everybody this morning? It's about 1 minute past 3 my time, and hopefully everybody can hear me. Can I get a yes or a no in chat, whether you can hear me, please? While I wait for that to come up, because there's usually a 3 or 4 second delay, I just need to mute my speakers so that it doesn't echo. Do we have audio, people? Please let me know. 7 p.m. for Raj in the UK. No audio, Phil. Hello? It says I've got audio. It's really, really low. It shouldn't be. Loud and clear for Kenneth D. Jeff is probably just messing with me. I can adjust the audio a little bit for you guys. Is that better? Hello? Yep. Okay. You hear me. Now, we had a big power cut the other day and a few settings got messed up. So hopefully that'll solve things for you. You all failed. He wanted a yes or no. Yeah. Okay. RJ's here. Greenbeard's here. RS Makes is here. Yeah, RS is here. Patrick's here. Just having a look. Papaway. John Beck. We've got a whole bunch of people who don't normally make it who made it. So that's awesome. Please, if you haven't already, like and subscribe. Because it does help. And please, next week, bring a friend. We are slowly growing the channel, but we've kind of stalled out just around the 300 mark. And we are on our push for 500, so I can start turning on more features for you guys. Where are we at? We are still building our Delta Flyer. There was a whole bunch of issues we started to identify last week, which wouldn't affect the operation of the printer, but were confusing and annoying and a whole bunch of other bits and pieces. So I have had what am I doing? I'm clicking the wrong button. I have been doing lots and lots of work offline to try and solve this on an ongoing basis for everybody. So let me bring on the overhead camera so we can see what's going on. And then I need to turn it around and put it to here. So at this point, the printer is currently powered on, but there is no clipper config installed. That's where we'd kind of got to. Problem with no clipper config installed is there's no USB port. The USB ports aren't turned on until, go away. There we go. I'm just going to turn him off for a minute. Until the clipper config is installed, there is no USB port power. Whole rabbit hole that I went down to try and get this resolved. So let's talk about what that means. With no USB port power, it means there's no touchscreen. You can't even negotiate with the touchscreen because without USB power, there's no HDMI chip awake to actually be visible to the board to then do the negotiation and then output to clipper screen. So what I did was I powered the screen via a different USB port during boot, and that made it that made the printer aware of the screen. It was part of my troubleshooting because we were having all sorts of weird bugs. Let us go through the troubleshooting steps of getting clipper screen, so getting the clipper config onto the printer, and then we will, from there, show you what the default setup is, and I will go through quickly how I fixed it. And either today, if we run out of other things to do, or next week, we'll actually go through the process of my fix, because in conjunction with a very knowledgeable person who I'm eternally grateful to called Cowboy on Discord, I've developed a method of actually turning the USB ports on during boot. Now, Brad, aka Howie DeWitt, he's also got a copy of this fix, so he's going to be testing it for me as well, just to make sure that the instructions that I've developed make sense. Just to, before we start pushing this out to people to make it broadly available as a problem solved. So let us go to mainsail. So in order to connect to the printer, I've had to plug in a LAN cable. It was the only way I could connect to the printer. So let's go here and go here, just make sure it loads. Yes. And then we'll go to there. So as you can see, it's giving you the normal errors because the printer config is invalid. What we're going to do is we're going to go here and see, yes, definitely 100% completely invalid. The close. Right click. We're going to get rid of it so it's no longer there in terms of being a CFG file. As far as the printer is concerned, .default doesn't exist. It's in the directory, it can see it, but it's not going to try and use it. We are now going to go and upload a file. And somewhere in here from last week, I have this CFG file. So bear with me a sec while I quickly find that. DF printer CFG, there we go. Now, when you download this from the Kenrog website, it is just the normal printer.cfg, but I have so many copies of printer.cfg in that folder, my downloads, that I just decided to rename it with a DF on the front to make it easier to work with. So back to here, and we've got DF printer. Rename it. Rename. Now, that is all installed. Let's go here. That's there, and let's go to SideCam, which is trying to zoom in on me because of its AI. There we go. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do a firmware restart. Just the same as you would if any time Clipper crashed. Disco lights. But also, if we have a look now, this is a little USB power meter for Type-C power. And you can see the USB port's powered up. Let me show you why. I really need to change things around, but I'm getting there. So behind chat, which I'm going to turn off just for a moment, the way I set my my mainsail up is I have the index turned on here for being able to see the various sections in my config. And if you do that, it means while it's a little bit weird in how it displays it, you can actually jump to a section. So here we go. We have output pin USB pin number, and it says on the DZ01, turn on pin GPIO 209, which is also known as PG17, and set that value to 1. So it's basically setting a pin on the CPU of the DZ01 too high, which then enables the USB ports, giving us USB power. So what that means is if we have a look here, we now get Clipper screen, because everything is now alive. Can I post a link in my Discord chat? What for, Jeff? Oh, a link to my Discord. Yep, I'll turn the bot on as well so that it rebroadcasts it every so often. So that's there. Now, at this point, we are live. We have ourselves a printer that works. This is the point that Steve Builds, Killer Prints, Armor 3D Printing, all the other guys have got to on their streams, and they've gone with it because it works. They've not been wanting to use a screen though, and I do want to use a screen. So at this point, the printer is completely operational and can be used. I've had a lot of trouble getting the Wi-Fi working, so I'm going to quickly go through the process you need to do to get the Wi-Fi working, and then we'll actually go through the calibration of the printer and get it going, because I want to push plastic, and I'm sure you want me to push plastic too, because this series is kind of dragging on a little bit. So now I've shown you the situation with the USB ports. What we can do is we can actually unplug the USB power here and plug it into the printer, because the negotiation's already done and cached on the the ARM chip. It'll wake up and we do have our screen. So let's go to that one, and you can see now that if I press move, it'll take a second, it's a bit laggy. It does work, trust me on it. So that's the situation where we're at. I'm actually going to unplug that for now. I'm going to take that all the way over here and out of the way so I don't keep knocking it, because I've got enough cables. This cable is running right across the room to the printer desk behind me, and I want to get rid of it. So let's go to putty. Let's make this a bit bigger for you guys. Right click, restart session. Will it load or won't it? It's not going to work. Okay. Close that out. New session. What I need to do is find my phone and check what IP address it's currently got. For those of you who are new here, I use a Unify system, which gives me remote monitoring of a lot of the stuff. And we are currently on 226, so it should have been working. 192.168.1.226. Network connection refused. Why are you refusing me? I have done this whole setup as a practice for you guys a couple of times. Unplug. And replug. And we know it's working because the website was working. The main cell port was working. Has it been assigned a new IP address? No, it's on 226. I am going to reboot it. Bye power. And coming back up. This is confusing because it was working. Phil, am I using a subnetwork for your printer? No! Subnets are a pain in the backside. The IP addresses that I connect to within my workshop are firewalled from the rest of the network, but the server can jump across. So the server I use for my streaming can jump into the IP range that is used here. Okay, it looks like main sale is coming back. The printer's up. Main sale's up. Let's just close all of the putty sessions. Maybe it's just some weird conflict. Ah, there we go. It's asking for an IP address. Sorry, username and password. So let's go into settings for a second. Settings. Change settings. And make this a little bit easier for you guys to see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into change, and I'm going to go down to 16, and I'm going to go, okay. That should mean it's an awful lot easier for you guys to read on the screen. So the username for DZ01 by default is byq, password is also byq. Thinks for a second, and we're in. So all we need to do here is use exactly what's on the screen. Ambien-config sudo to give us super user rights. Ambien config. Helps if I do a dash and not an equals. Gonna need the password one more time, and we're in. I'm going to show you a really dumb security fault that they've got with Ambien as well. Now, for those of you who are new here, it is 3:20 my time, so if I'm a little bit all over the place, I apologize. Did I type 9 last time? It's entirely possible. Okay, so system-wide admin, don't need to worry about that for now. Network configuration, add or change an interface. WLAN 0 is what we need. Don't touch WLAN 1. It does strange things. I think it might actually be something to do with the way the Bluetooth is done. Connect to an access point or become an access point. In principle, we could actually set this up so that it has its own access point and you can log on to it. So if you were going to, say, Smurf this weekend, you could actually turn on the access point feature in this version of Ambien, and you could connect direct from your computer to the IP address of the printer as if it was its own network. We're not going to, we're just going to set it up as a normal setup. Here's all the visible various Wi-Fi networks. That's us. Now, I have a password that I use for all of the network here for all my printers. A password that I don't care if you guys see because it's the only time I use this password. As you can see here, it's all starred out for security to protect it. So if somebody does see my screen, it's not visible. However, I've noticed that when you do this and it thinks about it for a few seconds, often it will come up with my password right here in plain text. Now, this is the only time I use this password. So I don't give a shit that you guys see it. I really don't. It doesn't matter. Unless you were sitting in my garden right now, in which case I've got bigger problems. Who cares whether you see this password? It's not reused anywhere. So all these people online who go, oh my goodness, I need to blank out my screen. Why? So we've got DHCP turned on for IPv4, DHCP for IPv6. We've got the access point name, which it found automatically, and we've got my password, which I know is correct. And I can read it in plain text, making it easier. Repo is awesome, no spaces, all lowercase. This section might disconnect you from the network. Are you sure you want to configure it? Yes. Everybody to down on the maker's place for a printer party. Bring it on, man. Bring it on. So let's show our configuration. And it says it's happy with the Wi-Fi. Back. Back. Exit. Now, if you want to display what's going on with the networking under Linux, you type ifconfig ifconfig and you hit enter. This will tell us that we have wireless LAN up. So WLAN 0 is connected on network and IP address 192.168.1.237. So we can now go here and put that into here. And we have mainsail. We also have it connected on the other IP address at this point as well. Hi, Katheth. Welcome to my streams. If we're in Perth at 3 AM, we would have bigger problems. Fair. Now, just quickly glancing at this, we can see that the extruder and the heated bed have a sensible temperature. We can see that the host temperature and the MCU temperatures are approximately what we would expect. Let us, just for a moment, put my big greasy paw onto the magnet and let's see if the heated bed warms up. There we go. And it does start to rise. And the same with the nozzle. Just a sanity check. I'm not looking for huge swings in temperature, but we are looking for a small swing. And we are seeing a rise in the nozzle temperature too. So we know that those thermistors are working and we are getting sensible results. IPA works as well. It's a new standard. Okay. Thanks, Penguin. Now, a lot of my Linux stuff is a little bit legacy because it's a long time ago since I've worked on servers and stuff. So Greenie likes a nice IPA. Now, when Greenbeard is talking about IPA, he means Indian Pale Ale, not isopropyl alcohol. Although it wouldn't surprise me with Greenbeard. I've seen things. So where are we at? We currently have mainsail running. There's one last thing, a quality of life thing that I really do prefer to get done on all of my printers. So let's bring back up this. Now, I'm going to do a quick process to give my printer a name on the network that is not just the IP address or the awful Big Tree Tech name that comes by default. So if we go cd/etc. and we need to do sudo hostname ctl set host name delta flyer. Oh, wait, I must have a I think it's. Am I missing something, Penguin? Oh, maybe it's this. I've got notes that I wrote in a hurry. There we go. And I've obviously missed something. So that's done. Now we need to go to that one. Sudo nano hosts. And we need to change this one. Delta flyer. And this one to Delta flyer. Control X, Y. Okay, as long as I'm on the right track, Penguin. No, Penguin is one of our resident Linux nerds, so sometimes I defer to him because we all have our specialties, and it's a little while, like I said, since I've done a huge amount of work on this sort of stuff. So sudo systemctl restart. Am I missing something? Too few arguments. I guess I could just reboot it anyway. So let's do that. Always offer the beer, but no. You can't do that, John Doe. This isn't a Raspberry Pi. This is a DZ01. That's why we're in ambient config. Now, ambient config, if you have a more robust version. Oh, I need the server. That's where the hostname CTL should have been in there. I've got some of this backwards, obviously. Thanks, Penguin. Some versions of Ambient will actually have the okay, so that's the wired connection. There's the Wi-Fi connection. So we are up on Wi-Fi. Let's unplug the cable so I don't end up falling over it, tripping over it, or ripping the printer off the table. And okay, so we are live. We have a printer on Wi-Fi. There we go. So going back to what I was saying with John Doe, Raspberry Pi config won't work on this because it's ambient, and also this version of the ambient config, for whatever reason, doesn't have the hostname section in it, which is why we had to do it all via command line. So we are now getting to the point where things are vaguely operational. We have our lights on. Did you see? You guys didn't see the disco lights, but it's all there. There we go. I'm just checking on chat. Everybody's just chatting amongst themselves. Okay, so we can see that main cell is up. Happy with main cell being up. So let us now go to the Clipper install tutorial, which we've already done, I think. Angry IP scanner, CB1, or Orca slicer config. That's the next part we need to do. Let's go to the tutorial. Burn the image. Orca setup. Install and open Orca slicer needs to be 2.3.1 or newer. In the window, get started. Oh, so it should already be in here because I think I've got an up-to-date Orca slicer. Oh no, I have 2.3.0, so I do need to do a quick update. So while that's loading, we'll have a look at some of the rest of this. We can do a PID tune. So let's bring up the Clipper config. Oh, other thing we need to do is quickly, let's go to that one. Let's see if it will home. Let's very carefully turn it around. I'm going to unplug the screen entirely and tuck that cable out of the way. Put the screen off my desk so I don't smash it. And open the door so you guys have no reflections, or certainly less reflections. Let's try a home. Have you got it on clipping ready for something falling apart in the mechanism because I didn't do it right? That spool really wants to escape. Yes, it does. Home all. Well, that was uneventful. And we have a shrimp father in the house. Hello, shrimp father. So that was uneventful. It homed. Win. Let's go X10. I can't do that at this point. I need to do -10, don't I? I need to do this first. I need to go down a little bit. Okay, something's rubbing on that one. Something's rubbing somewhere. I don't think it's going to affect what we're doing, but it's rubbing. Homing uneventful is a good start. So we printed down a little bit, and we're going to try. So what's our current location? 0, 0. We need to try. And it moved -10. It moves +10 in X, -10 in Y, +10 in Y. And we're already knowing it's moving up and down in Z, so that's all good. Let's set this back to because you can't home one without the others. And we're all good. It does sound very unhappy, doesn't it, Greenbeard? I think it's just that one of the pulleys is rubbing very slightly against the plastic. So I'm not going to stress it for now. Yeah, it's something that's going to need a minor adjust, I think. So there's there. So we can home. Let's PID tune this sucker while we're waiting. PID calibrate heater equals extruder target equals 170. I'm going to change that to 220 because that's somewhere halfway between my ABS and PLA temperatures. Send. Let's put you up on the screen so people can see that. Helps if I paste the whole thing, doesn't it? I missed the P off the front. There we go. Now the heat break fan came on immediately, so that's also a good sign. And we've got decent heat up speed. These little cheap hot ends do heat up fast. That's good. Now there is one thing we are going to need. We are going to need the bed. Now, I spotted on, I think it was Armor 3D Printing's chat the other day during one of his streams, that Jose from LDO said they are coming out with more of the beds as available as a spare part. But he doesn't know exactly when yet. You know who we're missing? We're missing Nick. He has Forsaken us. So we're up at temperature already. It's doing its climbs and drops. Actually, while we're waiting for that, let's go to here and here. This is a graph that the boss over at Bontech posted of the temperatures on his index equip machine. Every single dip is a tool change. And if you have a look at those time windows, they're 2-minute time windows, and somebody did some pixel counting, and he reckoned that the change was approximately 26 seconds. So that looks pretty good. We've also been told that the index invoices should be coming out within the next 7 days. Okay, so we do now have ourselves a PID set up for the nozzle. So let's go save config. And I'm just going to check the name for the bed. It's just heater_bed. Not that one, that one. Out of the valid range, that would make sense. Let's set that to 100. Now, why am I doing 100 when this printer is likely going to be largely printing PLA? If I'm going to be printing ABS, I want it to be good there. So if it has a little bit of overshoot when I'm printing PLA, it's not a big deal. It just warms up the chamber a little bit more. It's not going to hurt anybody. Okay. John is saying, I saw that I'm looking to get an index for the Micron that I'm currently building. My index is almost certainly going to be going onto my Prusa. Why? Because I want an appliance printer that just does it. Oh, Nick's arrived. We're currently PID tuning, Nick. We have done many things. I've explained a little bit about what was going on with this strange stuff with the USB ports and what we're doing to address it. The scary thing, Penguin, is normally you have to say his name 3 times fast, and then he turns up like Beetlejuice or a bad smell. So, what's RJ Man saying repo for stop for? What have I broken, RJ? No. The Delta lives. Yes, it does. You think I summoned him? Look at Discord. Okay, so it's looks like it's let's close the door. It's going to take a few moments, I think. And for this, let's turn chat back on so I can see it more easily there. And let's add another camera, because why not? Add existing, add that one. And then let's go wink. And that seems to fit okay there for now. I can turn this on and off as we need it. So Brexit says first index goes on Prusa, but what about the second index? Second index will be a little bit of saving away. They aren't cheap, especially by the time you convert them to Aussie dollars. It's quite expensive. I've been saving since October to be able to afford mine. So unless some fairy godfather turns up in chat and donates millions of dollars, it's not going to happen. Okay. I keep getting pop-ups because when we had the power outage the other day, Windows did its update because it rebooted, and yeah. Strange things are going on. It took me a moment to get my microphone working again first thing this morning, and I've got crazy stuff coming up on my screen like language bars and stuff. And for some reason, I now have English Australia and English United Kingdom installed on this machine. Can't even afford one, let alone two. Still climbing up to the 60 odd degrees. I wonder if they've gone into the config and they've set the bed power to something limited. Although it is a 24-volt bed, and it's a long while since I've used a 24-volt bed. Can get me an evil stepmother to donate warts and stuff. I've already got one of those, dude. Well, I've got a wicked mother-in-law. When my father popped his clogs, my wicked stepmother effed off back to Scotland. Yes. So, yeah. He's already got warts. Where? Oh, dude, how'd you know about those ones? Seriously. Have you been peeking? So, waiting for that to warm up. Okay, so while we're waiting for this, because it's obviously going to take a couple of minutes because it's still only at 75C, let me walk you through my github.com. Let's go. You can't see anything on the left-hand side. You really can't see anything on the left-hand side. There we go. He saw my feet on stream. Okay, so here is my DZ01 fix. Now, I know that Brad's already seen this, and there's a few of the people who I know have built these machines who have seen this. This turns on the USB ports on the Big Tree Tech DZ01 with this chip during boot cycle, which means that it can then negotiate with the chip on the HDMI screens, and it can also talk to toolhead boards before Clipper is live. When can you order? When can I order an index? Index ordering for public purchase will start middle of April. How long it will take for that queue to actually be able to do the purchase and the get it shipped to you, they're still working on that because they know they're going to have a huge influx of initial orders, and how long it's going to take to fulfill those initial orders, they don't know yet. So until purchasing starts, it's kind of up in the air, but based on the success of the pre-order, they're estimating they're probably going to need thousands and thousands and thousands of units. So my recommendation, if you are looking at buying Index, jump onto the Discord, set your alerts to, oh my God, scream at me when they post, and that way you'll know when the purchasing goes live for retail. Phil, look away, save yourself. So, yes, that spool does want to escape. Okay, where are we at? We are talking about my fix. Do I need this? No, you don't need this. unless you're using a USB powered touchscreen or you want to use a tool headboard or other secondary MCU. Don't make changes to your printer you don't need to, people. It's like with Clipper, don't update it unless there's a new feature you need. This involves making a huge change to your Linux setup, and while you can undo it, it's not easy, so don't do it unless you have to. First thing I recommend is always back up your printer CFG file. There's an easy way to do it, which you can just simply go duplicate, and I've talked briefly through that. And then we go through and we edit the printer CFG. And you remember right at the beginning of the stream, I showed you the output pin config. You just need to hash that out. And I thoroughly recommend adding this note to make sure that you know that you have done a change. This is what hopefully your config section should look like, all hashed out, all green, and all pretty. Then I've got a quick guide to what's going on, how to copy it down from the GitHub, how to get to the folder, and how to do the install. It's really, really straightforward, and it should just work for 99.9% of users. But to make sure that everybody gets it right, I've got a few people testing it out. I've sent it to a few of the influencers who are, by influencers, I mean people who build printers like this on streams, who know what they're doing, they do it on a regular basis, to make sure that it's ready for mainstream before I start publishing it. And I'm going to actually get it linked by Kenrog and a few other people around the place to make sure that everybody's got access to it if they need it. Hopefully they'll announce it this week at Smurf, Olaf. Because, oh yeah, Olaf knows exactly what's going on, but he doesn't want to make promises until he can actually deliver it. He's been stung, and they are copping flack for this having taken so long, and he's once bitten, twice shy, I think. So yeah, this is my fix. This will actually make the USB ports turn on during boot. We'll probably do that next week, just as a finishing up and do a bit of a cleanup, a tidy up. And I also want to fit that base plate, which is going to involve tapping into the extrusions. I bought a tap and drill and stuff. So let's make that a little bit bigger so I can read it a bit easier. And let's go back to here. Where are we at? It's finished. We didn't really need to watch it. We made better use of the time. So, oh no, it's not. Has it done? Or did it fail? Oh no, it's going down to 95. It's in the middle of its cycle. Yeah, so far there's only been one, in inverted commas, delay, and they were very transparent about it. And it's yeah, it hasn't. Nothing has changed since the actual pre-sale. We are getting videos trickled out by both Prusa and Bontech. There was 2 new videos this week from Bontech, and Prusa's been just dropping videos on their social media as they see fit. Yeah, there's been lots of cheeky comments of late. He's been doing. He published well, that picture I showed you guys. It actually shows temperatures which are well and truly outside of what the unit is capable of on paper. He basically said, "Do what I say, not do what I do," because he's got access to replacement units if he blows one up. Okay, it's doing another cooldown cycle. We're probably going to end up with 5 of these little peaks and troughs. For those of you who are wondering, this is the heated bed. peak 1, peak 2, peak 3, and we're probably going to end up with 2 more peaks. For those of you who don't know what's going on, basically Clipper is timing how long it takes to get between these temperatures, and using the timings, it then generates a graph internally, which then helps it predict how early to turn off the heater to reach a temperature just before, so it doesn't overshoot. So if its target is 100, it might still be reading 99.1, and then it'll turn the heater off because it knows that there's a lag before the thermistor comes up to the full temperature. So it's calculating all those delays. RJ's fairy godmother sent him a BD sensor. If you've got that weird thing going on with Hector where you're now calling him your fairy godmother, then dude. Changing the color to orange. Let's open that up, get rid of the shinies. So we've got the bed plate in, and ow, that is hot. Let's keep the warming, it'll be a bit faster. Now, you can actually turn these off and change their colors if you want to. Mad Dog hurts penguin, so. RJ and Penguin, we need to start a Florida Rep Rap Festival. All those Florida men in one place. Alligator Rep Rap Festival. That'll be confusing though. Are you making alligators? Open source alligators, that's a new one. I'm just watching this PID. This is either the last one or the last but one. Oh no, it's going to heat up one more time. And yeah, so what's coming up on the channel? I have some soldering projects that I want to get done, and I have a couple of printer rescues that are coming up for various clients. So we might actually do a little bit of a pivot to putting together some fixes for some printers. I've got a Wanhao i3 coming in that is basically OEM of an OEM of an OEM of an OEM. So produced by one company for another company for another company for another company, to the point where Aldi, the grocery company, started selling them. And this Aldi printer needs some love. The motherboard died. It's currently got either a Raspberry Pi, either a Big Tree Tech Pico or Ender 3 board in it, and it's misbehaving. So somebody wants that putting back together, and there's a couple of other Enders floating around that various people want me to fix with no rush on them. So we might do a little bit of a pivot for a few weeks and just do messing around with other people's printers where we do fixes and play with them. And then once all my soldering gear turns up, we're going to do some tinkering with some broken boards, and we're going to start replacing MOSFETs and Schottky diodes and stuff, and hopefully resurrecting a few $100s worth of broken boards. And it looks like our PID is done, so we can go save config, quick reboot, disco lights, and we're up. Now, one thing I saw that Killer Prince did that I also want to do is I think it was this one. No. LED cycle. Set repeat count. Let's go to 20. Save and restart. I just want to make it do disco lights longer, people. There we go. More disco lights. More disco is better. It'll finish in a second. Okay, maybe 20 was a bit excessive, but so what? Next, let's go back to this. Hopefully, something strange going on with my Orca Slicer update. Bear with me a sec. Oh, okay. The download stalled. Bear with me. Do. Sorry guys, this is just taking a few moments while I work this all out because nothing's ever easy. Okay, there we go. All right. When I was messing around with GitHub, it bombed a few things out. You got a fever, a disco fever. Ew, Miami Maker Fair in Coral Gables. Drop bear with me. Just waiting for this to launch. When I've got all this stuff running for streaming, it just takes a little while. This machine is good and it's got many cores and many RAMs, but I don't like to push it too hard. Finish. Let's load Orca again. There we go. Doopy 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 doo. And here we go. So, previous prints, nothing I've done that is going to jeopardize anybody's privacy. Let's go. No, here, preferences. No, that's not it. Device, no, I remember. Prepare. We need to go. Click to edit a preset, connection. How do we add a new preset? I hate Orca's layout. It makes no sense. That one, maybe? There we go. It doesn't even highlight as if it's a real button. For those of you who didn't know, you can just get a PNG file and insert it into any of the slick based slices, and you can use that as your bed. Taking a while. There we go. Delta Flyer with a 0.4 nozzle. Confirm. So why don't we in fact do that? We'll go edit preset. We'll go into this, and it says that. No idea what that one is. So let's not click that. That one will do. I'm not going to mess with anything. There we go. There you go. It edited in real time so you can see how it works. And as you can see, because the trick or treat is curved, it sort of fits. I'll fix it up later with the proper one. But yeah, so we now have that. Let us do the rest of our calibrations and setups. So we've done a PID tune, we've done our Orca slicer setup. Before we do this, we need to do our delta calibrate. Why is that not in here? Oh, there we go, delta calibrate. Control C. Dashboard. I don't even know what you're seeing at the moment, that one. Still on that one, that's fine. Should that be delta underscore calibrate underscore manual? Oh, there's a button for it. Okay. Okay, so it thinks we're at 20 mil. We have a long way to go, so let's go. That's too much. Still too much. Too much, but not by much. I can just feel that being tightish on the nozzle. That's a little bit too loose. I'm happy that that's close enough and accept. Oh, too much. Abort. Okay, why am I aborting? I think I skipped a step. Because I've skipped a step, that will put everything out of whack. And I don't want that. Now we know we can go down 10. Or 210. 11 rather. Now, RJ, don't get excited. I know I'm down on my knees, but don't get excited. I think that's good. Too far. You can actually hear the stepper motors sing a little bit if they're pressing too hard. I think that's good. Check chat. Careful, RJ will set your stuff on fire. Ask Hector. I think that's good. A little bit too tight. That's good. Sorry, I know I've gone a little bit quiet. I'm just concentrating on this so I don't break anything too much. A little bit too much. I think that's good. And it seems happy. Ugh. So, next thing we should probably do is see if it pushes plastic by itself. Let's save the config. Let's start warming up the hot end and home all. This is the hardest thing to do while engaging the audience. It is, because you've got to concentrate so much that talking is just like, yeah, just give me a second. Get rid of my, for those of you who wondered what was going on, it's a Cadbury's Dairy Milk chocolate wrapper. And I've just realized that that screen is upside down from the changes. Get ready for seasick, guys. There we go. And my feet are just off screen, so that's going to keep RJ under control. Okay, so where are we at? We have that all warming up. That is coming up to 150. And that's all there, that's all there. In principle, the filament is at the extruder. We're going to go nice and slow at 1 millimeter a second. We're going to try and extrude 25 millimeters. Go. Actually, let's put it up to 200. Now you want chocolate. We all want chocolate. We always want Cadbury's Dairy Milk. Close enough for what we're doing. And let's go extrude. I'm not sure whether that moved or not. I told it to go 25 millimeters, but I'm pretty sure it didn't extrude that much. No, that hadn't even gone through the teeth. So I was actually pressing up against the extruder gears, not down at the hot end like I thought I was. Let's put a nice chamfer on the end of that filament. The filament feels like it's engaged, but it's not being drawn in. All right. Let's do something sensible and disable motors for a second. So everything's disabled and I am going to need to rehome it, probably. Now, I don't consider that I've got the extruder gears set particularly tight. And it does feel like the teeth are gripping the filament. So this is confusing. And I can see the gears going around because the gears are exposed. Let's turn this around so you guys can see. Let's go to that one. So the filament feels well and truly engaged. Look, I can even rock the printer by pulling it. But it does not feel like well, it's definitely not pulling on the filament. So let's go here and go extrude. I'm not sure if you can see it on. Yep, you can probably just make out that the gears were going around. So let's lift that off. Let's take that out and make sure there's no filament stuck anywhere. And I'm just going to get another piece of filament. Reese's Pieces egg acquired for Easter. Montezuma dark chocolate. White chocolate isn't chocolate. Yes, it's definitely not chocolate. Okay, that seems to be engaging. Let's see if this will move. Let's do a shorter distance this time, just 5 mils, because I don't want to send this all the way through. That felt like it wanted to pull, but it didn't. So let's see how far this is actually going into the extruder drive. Oh, that went a lot deeper that time, said the bishop to the choir boy. Let's see if it'll spit the filament out. Let's click on retract. So the filament isn't even making it to being engaged with the drive at this point. What printer would I recommend to somebody who doesn't know much outside YouTube videos? Are you talking, Julian, in terms of welcome, because it looks like you're a first-time poster and maybe a long-time viewer. I would recommend something off the shelf. Lots of people who are new to 3D printing go with Bamboo. Go for your life if you feel so inclined. I don't like a lot of the way they do their business, and I wouldn't recommend it unless I specifically knew a specific use case that made it Bamboo or Bamboo or Bamboo. Prusa, very nice machines, very expensive, but you're going to get a really nice out-of-the-box experience in most cases, unless you're Raj, and we won't go into that. The other options out there at the moment are the Snapmaker U1, which is multicolor, so it's a bit more expensive, or there's the Century Carbon. There's two versions of the Century Carbon. The original version is crazy cheap because it's basically on run out right now. It will print most of the things you want to throw at it, but it's not multicolor. Or there's the Century Carbon 2, which is the multicolor version. If you're really into engineering and you're practical with your hands, you build stuff all day, every day for your day job, whatever, go for a Voron. They're fun builds, but don't do that as your first printer if you're just an average office worker who doesn't do stuff with your hands and never has. This is going to be biting off more than you can chew. Raj, I'm just saying that your out-of-box experience with one of your process wasn't as smooth as it could have been. That's all. You didn't do anything wrong. Never do anything wrong. Raj is a good guy. No, the first thing that Raj did was not blame anybody. The first thing that Raj did was jump on a Discord chat with myself and a couple of others just to go, have I screwed something up? Am I making a big mistake? Which is the sensible thing to do, because the chances are when you're buying a commercial printer these days from anybody is you've done something not quite right with the setup. I'm just turning this filament around, seeing if I can work out why things aren't engaging properly. Now, we did run filament through this before we set the printer up, before we attached it to the printer. So quite why we're having difficulties now, I really don't know. Best way forward for this, I think, is going to be to turn that off. Let's power down the printer, make things safe. And we are going to take this panel off, which will then mean we've got access to the entire... No, we can't take that panel off because of the wiring guide. We are going to go in here. We're going to pull the head all the way down, and we're going to undo the two screws that hold the extruder in place. 2 mil. The other thing I'm going to do before we start, remove that little clip. Oh, is that the problem? Have I got filament already down the Bowden and it snapped? Is that why I'm having all this difficulty? Yes. Okay. That might be a bit easier to solve than... So the problem, guys, is that we've got filament snapped off inside the extruder. So I need to... And I've got the PTFE coupler depressed, but it's not depressed enough to get the... And by depressed, I mean pushed in, not suicidal. Oh, shouldn't use that word on YouTube. So, one nylock screw removed. Actual screw removed, and that little washer fell down inside somewhere. We'll have to retrieve that in a minute. I'm going to unplug the extruder motor cable. Death, you must go via another name in other media, because if I've helped you, I don't remember your name. There we go. We had a little bit of filament stuck inside the drive. There we go. Drive's working again. So what had happened was there was a little bit of filament snapped off behind the collar, and that was then preventing everything from pushing through. Easily fixed. But what we do have is we have two missing washers. One is there. For those of you who don't know, and if you have a look down, you might be able to see down inside. I actually put a magnet down inside the bottom of these drivers to make the drivers ever so slightly magnetic at the tip. And that means that I can fish out things like little washers if they fall down. Is that the... No. And let's pull the print head up out of the way for a second. Nope. I did hear it fall down. So I'm wondering... if I pick it up... Yes, there it is. So that and that. And one of those. Now this is going to be fun to put back together, because remember when we put the extruder on, we put the extruder on before we mounted the panel. So that one. Now, one thing we did talk about, which we may as well do while we're here, you remember, you guys, I was talking about using nylon nuts, nylon washers to protect the plastic. Let's see if I've got those here. No, they're not easily available, and I'm not going to mess around. I do have some nylon shims that will protect the acrylic a little bit better than just screwing straight up against it. But so that's in place. And it doesn't hang very well. So what I'm going to do is just for a moment, hold it there. I'm then going to get my tweezers. There. And this is the sort of thing where if I wasn't showing you guys, I'd probably roll the printer over on its side. Because that would give me another hand free. Screw it. Let's go washerless. I'm going to take it off after I finish the stream anyway and do all the nylon washers. Struggle Town, go away door. There we go. All right, that has grabbed. I'm glad that I've been helping people around the place, even if I don't know who they are. It's one of those things where you throw out the goodwill into the universe and hopefully it comes back. That's bitten. All right. Just going to hold this with my fingers for a second. Oh, I get the bulk of it tightened up. There we go. Seeing as we do have a few new faces in the chat, please do like and subscribe. And also, if you haven't already, subscribe to Penguin Makers, RJ Repo Man. Who else do we have in chat who might want a like and a subscribe? I can't see any of the other creators in chat at this point, but Penguin Makers and RJ are both relatively new streamers and would definitely appreciate your subscribes if you haven't already. Let's put the PTFE back in. One, two, lift that up so it's not leaning on the bed. Let's put the filament on. Still got its little chamfer. Now, you're possibly wondering why I've got there we go, feeding much more easily. So let's power this up so it's booting up while we're doing this. Why I've got the PTFE on here when it's not got a holder at the other end. It's just a shock absorber. So turning this around, that is just a shock absorber. As the filament gets sucked in, it just flexes like this and it takes some of the it not only helps shape the curve of the filament going into the extruder and holds it in the center, it also acts as a shock absorber so that the whole system doesn't have lots of individual tugs going on. There we go, we've got boot. Now there is a loading macro and an unloading macro. So this, what we're doing here is entirely unnecessary, but I just want to, for my peace of mind, there we go. Now, can you see? There's actually a little bit of recoil in the system. That means it's all the way down at the heat break. So we are at the point where we're supposed to be, except we're -2 washers. Now we haven't got any of the stepper drivers engaged at this point, so I can plug in the stepper motor. And now let's go back to mainsail and go try again. I just realized I don't have any of my top lights on. It's a little better. That's too much. I'm trying to do it so you guys don't get a horrible reflection. Turn that off. Quickly catch up on chat. Greenbeard prints helmets. You're sorting out, Julian. That's all good. So let us jump back to Orca. New project. Let's just make sure that hasn't messed with anything. Okay, that all looks good. Close. Let's find our koala, shall we? Prepare. Add. Search. That's not the one. Now, that's probably a little bit big. I normally scale him down. Something's not right. We've got, can you see over here, we've got 4 filaments. That means we're set up for multicolor for some reason. That's not what I was after. No. I really dislike this interface. Multi-material. Extruders 1. Nope, that's better. Is that everything I need to change? All right, I think that's all we need to change. Yeah, I agree with Greenbeard on that. If you're printing helmets, you want something big. Big. My Voron 350 struggles to fit some of the helmets I've been asked to print, so. Move note, scale, that's what I'm after. Scale to a uniform size, and let's set that to 80%. So that's a bit more practical. We're using generic PLA. We're actually going to be using gray, but that doesn't matter. Slice the plate. Now we do need to add this to our filter flyer .local, and let's test it. Connection to Octoprint works correctly. Slice plate again. Print. Upload and print. Let's see what happens over here. Still uploading. This is quite a chunky file. And I don't, we do have the external antenna plugged in. There's our thumbnail. And we're heating our bed to 55C, so it shouldn't take too long. While we're waiting for that to warm up. Hey, we're printing a drop bear. We always print the drop bear. Jeff, that's my thing. If somebody was coming to me today and saying to me, what printer should I buy? And my budget is, in inverted commas, unlimited. I would say get the Prusa Core 1L. It's 300 by 300 by roughly 300 tall. And if you want to do multicolor inexpensively, the MMU3. If you're prepared to spend even more on top of it, the index unit's coming for it. And that's going to mean either 8 or 10 heads. They haven't announced whether it's going to have the 10 heads it's theoretically capable of or not. It'll definitely have 8 heads. And that would definitely be a turnkey solution. Now, quite when the Core 1L will come out with a as is, just go for it setup, we don't know yet. I just realized the Bowden locks. I forgot to put them back in. We probably wouldn't have a problem, but let's do it for safety's sake. No, let's leave it alone. What time are we at? 4:40. Probably got about another 30 to 40 minutes before the kids wake up. So now, theoretically speaking, we should also be preloading the arms with the rubber bands. I have done some tweaking and some testing, and I really don't think it's going to be necessary to preload at this point. They are as close to perfect as you could want in terms of tolerance. If it turns out we need them, then I'll put them on. Hot end is already at 180 degrees. The one thing I do have though is my fingers at the ready to adjust my Z offset, just in case. Now it is going to print a skirt around the model, which will give us a little bit of buffer. Everybody's gone quiet, which either means there's another stream going on or everybody's eating. Ooh, it did a prime at the top. There is goopy stuff on the bed, but we will go with it for now. Da Vinci's still here. That might be a little bit too low. Looks like maybe one of my calibrations was a little bit out. Now, you guys might not be able to see this, but the bit of filament that dropped off the hot end just before it started printing has been flicked off behind the printer. And we do have a little bit of a lift. And we've got some sort of shift going on, so let's cancel that. Pause and cancel. It pushes plastic. We push plastic. It's a celebratory moment anyway. So let's have a look at this. I think we probably need to do another delta calibrate. Or machine, printer config, and go all the way to the bottom. Heights. Here's our delta calibrate. I'm going to take a guess that that one is way off. See how all the others are 40-ish and that's suddenly 37? I reckon that one is our problem child. Raj is eating beans on toast. Penguin is eating lasagna. Brad's on his way to another job. I'm going to be naughty and change that. Bad feel, not supposed to change the stuff in the green section. Penguin, there's never a question. It's meat, pasta, bechamel sauce. Meat, pasta, bechamel sauce. Meat, pasta, bechamel sauce. Rinse and repeat until you run out of meat and or pasta. Then top with bechamel sauce. Then lots and lots of mozzarella. That's the only way to eat lasagna. So for those of you who didn't see what I did is I manually intervened on the one of the calibration points, which was quite obviously an outlier. I did some mental math and I picked a number which would make sense. And we're going to give this another try. Bacon and eggs for Smoko today. I do remember an episode of Top Gear where Jeremy Clarkson did his usual let's upset some people for some ratings stunt. And he said, Danish bacon with Danish butter on sliced toast is the easiest way to solve vegetarianism. Or where's that effect? So right about now, it's warming back up. Bed's close enough to temperature. Come on. There we go. Does its little dance. And the good news is the bed is unmarked, so it wasn't so close that it marked the bed. It was just too close to extrude any material. Should start any moment. Oh, it overshot the temperature just slightly. Yeah, it's looking a lot more like we would expect. It might be a little high, if anything, now. And we've shed a piece because we were a little bit too high. So let's go pause and abort. But what that means is we can probably undo some of the offset because it was a little bit too high. So let's go down by 0.1 of the mil. Click the print and click go before it cools down too much. So we're pushing plastic. We just a few minor teething troubles with the height, but easy enough sorted. One of those as in the Delta Flyer Cody, definitely do it. It's fun. The adjustments I did to the config should make it a lot easier to do modifications to the printer as well now. The Delta calibrator is still out a little bit, I think. Yeah, there's one point is still a little bit out. There we go. I think we're good. I'm going to do that delta calibrate off stream, and we'll. Oh, we've lost a part. The downside of all of these designs with the big flat bottom area is if there's one tiny wisp of plastic that's poking up, this will rub against it and rub against it and rub against it until it peels it off. So let's go all the way down to our now I'm playing with those numbers in the dark, having already, I know enough about the mathematics to be able to get away with it. I wouldn't recommend everybody else do that. Right, that's all warming up. Again, do as I say, not as I do. I don't mind being a hypocrite. I think I got what you said, Jeff, but it could also be these that one and that one that are a little bit off as well. But maths on stream is always risky, and mental maths is even riskier at this time in the morning. So I'm just trying to get it to the point where it's close. We're talking about fractions of a millimeter here, so. Yeah, there's still a little bit of a low spot on this corner. This is the merest smear of filament squidging out. And there was a little tiny smidge of plastic. Let's do this the proper way, guys. Delta calibrate manual. You know what else we're going to do? Just for giggles. We're going to abort this. We're going to set this to 55. And we're going to set that to 150. That way the entire system is approximating the right temperatures. This is where I like clipper screen because you've got much bigger chunks you can move it down in. And we know we can get down quite a long way on this. Too much. Well, that's actually good, because that means that the original 0 point was good. So accept that one. Remember, we played with some of these numbers manually. Too far. There we go. So this is probably the point that was out. So let's go down to 2. Too much. Still too much. Remember, if I smell burning, it's the paper. It's me, not the paper. Okay. Depends if it smells like chicken. It smells like fried chicken. Too much. And that makes sense for it being another one of the points being off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Fried emu. That's close enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not that one. Save config. $55, enter. 150, enter. Not quite sure why it's not accepting the bed temperature on the first go. Anyway. Print bear. Okay, maybe we need to turn the disco light repeats down. When am I building new Lego on stream? Probably not for a while. Mostly because most of the Lego is for my daughter, and my wife doesn't really want her on stream, so, and that's fair enough. If I get myself some big kid Lego, then maybe. Although if I get myself big kid Lego and I build it without my wife, she will be irritated, so. Bed's at temperature. Hot end is at temperature. Oh, the one I built when I posted in my Discord. Yeah, no. I'm just looking at this print and it's looking a lot more even. So I think we're on a winner now. Just for giggles, let's have a look at those numbers, see how far out we were. We were a long way out. That one. It goes brr. For anybody who decides to join my Discord, just be aware there's a couple of sections where it's really aimed at adults. So if you prefer your sensibilities a little bit less adult oriented, definitely just don't go into the meme section. Now, in theory, this print should be done in about 28 minutes from now. I'm quite happy to keep chatting away and talking to you guys for that length of time, but it's up to you guys. Do you want me to just hang around here or not? Penguin needs to find a good penguin test model. Yes, yes, he does. Let's see if we can do that for him. let's go to here. There's a whole bunch of penguin models. Ooh, that one looks good. A little bit of a torture test as well. That's one that might work for you. Well, that one looks like it might be fun too. Although that's going to need lots of support. You see here? Yeah. A geared penguin. Are you a geared penguin? Oh, that's an assemble yourself. No. Low poly penguin. That one could work as well. I still think that the first one will be the best. Is that a red hat penguin? I don't know if it's a red hat penguin. Oh, there we go. I think that's what you mean. Articulated and posable. It looks like you print the... Oh, it's somebody else's penguin and then you add that to it. Havoc, how are you? You've almost missed the stream. We are currently printing though. So that's the penguin, and this is the hat for him. While it's doing its thing, I'm just trying to work out which one of these is rubbing. It doesn't seem to be affecting the print, so I'm not going to stress it for now, but... Printer goes brrr. You're in a painting class. So, in case you guys didn't notice, this cam, my side cam, I've swapped things around. I'm now doing things how Steve Builds does it. I now have my Meet 2, which used to be my overhead cam, as the side camera, because it doesn't have a gyroscope in it, so it doesn't freak out if I move it around. And I've moved the Meet 2, which I was using as a side cam, to the overhead cam, which means I can drive it around and steer it a little bit easier. You've bookmarked the torture penguin. My wife is going to be thrilled that we have yet another of these koalas floating around the house. At one stage, we had 50 of them because I was printing them on the Voron, testing out Vivid. But I managed to give them away to my daughter's little school friends and swim school friends, and then my son's swim school friends. How are we going progress-wise? Time keeps stretching out, so... We'll keep going as long as we can, and if the kids wake up, then I'll just have to call the stream at that point. Okay, so what do we need to do to finish the printer? We need to do the software update, which fixes the USB ports. Once we've done the software fix that does the USB ports, I also need to put on the one-piece base. That involves drilling and tapping into the bottom of the extrusions. So that's probably something we'll do next week. And need to put on the lid for the first time, and I just need to finish routing all these wires. One thing which I might do off stream is I have some of the wire braiding stuff, the sleeving, that I might run a little bit down onto the extruder. I can't see it easily, but the extruder motor wiring, I might just put it in a sleeve to make it all nice and pretty. And then there's also a sleeve to go up all this wiring to keep it all nice and tidy as well, which we can do at the beginning of the stream. So next week's stream will probably be a bit more chill. We'll do all the tidying up. We will then, once we've done all the tidying up, we will do another print and we'll have a chat. Did you make a screen mount yet? No, I didn't. The screen I've got is huge. It's a 7-inch touchscreen. So if I was to put it over the printer, it covers most of it if I put it on the top. So I'm thinking about standing it vertically. Like that. I think that'll work. Well, it'll be on top of the blue cover, so let's put that on gently. And what I'm thinking is these tabs I'll actually put through the lid and then have, if I reprint these with some mounting underneath for these to screw into, and then have some sort of 45-degree support at the back, that should make it nice and secure. That's not very straight. There we go, close enough. I think we've had a small layer shift at some stage, but we're doing all right. Yes, you could. There's no reason why not, Jeff. And it looks like that camera froze when I moved it because I knocked the cable rather than anything else. We might be about to get a visit from a 2-year-old. Yes, we are. Hello, little man. Come on. Come say hi to everybody. You want to come stand up? Careful, careful. Walk up. Oh, no. Say hi, everybody. Does Printer go brr?
That you want?
It's a new printer.
That my big one?
It's printing you a little koala wala.
Yeah.
Everybody says hi. No, this isn't mini, this is micro. You're micro maker, aren't you? Is Fizzy mini maker? Yep. Don't pick your nose on stream. Dude, seriously.
That you want?
Yeah.
No.
No nose. Leave nose alone. So, if you're awake, does that mean Daddy needs to finish his stream, or are you going to be good? Can you be good for a few minutes? No. How long have we got left on this? We've got about 15 minutes left on the print. Dig for gold. They're a bad influence on you guys. Well, I'm getting more interactions when this little guy's on stream. Well, that happens the same for Modbot as well. When his little guy turns up on stream, everybody starts chatting again. So maybe you need to do more cameos. More cameos? Can you say like and subscribe? Like and subscribe? Okay, thank you. It's still very early, isn't it, little dude? Do you need a coffee? You don't need a coffee. Can you make Daddy a coffee? Yeah. Make Daddy a coffee in a few minutes? Yeah. Is that you up there? Whoa, is that you?
Koala bear.
Koala bear. No DNA testing, 150% yours. You should see my daughter. That poor girl is cursed. She looks a lot more like me. Still too tired, Dad. Yep, definitely too tired. Can you see the Walla Walla bear?
No.
Look up on this TV. Up there. Yeah, up there on the TV. You can see Walla Walla.
Beauty.
Yeah.
I see koala bear.
You can see koala bear.
Yeah, not that one. That one.
Chocolate milk and call it kid coffee. My wife has this thing for always buying them baby chinos wherever we go, which is basically just frothy milk with the chocolate dust on the top.
Yeah.
Except this guy, he's particularly reactive to anything with sugar in it. And you go a little bit hyperactive, don't you? Do you go crazy? You want to get down? You gonna go see Mama? Okay. Bye-bye, little dude. Bye-bye. He's out of here. Both have the same hairstyle. Oh, come on. Mine recedes a bit further than his. Yeah, so we're getting quite a bit of layer shifting from what I can see. It's wandering backwards and forwards. But I know what that's caused by. It's caused by whatever's rubbing. Everybody stop chatting, micro's gone. He's been on a few streams. One day, my mother-in-law just suddenly decided that she wasn't going to take him on one of my stream days when I was doing. I think I was in the middle of doing the 3D sets truck build. So he just sat in his high chair at the end of the table, and was chatting with Keela. He'd wave at her and stuff. You can definitely see the issues with the flare shift on that koala's face now. It's just small amounts backwards and forwards. I am going to do the rubber bands, but I don't think that's actually the cause of what's going on here, RJ. Okay, Penguin, you've just... Yeah, that... Since when do cats ever cooperate? We've all seen Steve's streams. They either sleep or they're standing right here, right where you don't want them to be. Jeff, you feel old because you are old. Well, for all of you saying that you feel old in your 30s, on this Monday just gone, I turned 48. So, although one thing I do to stroke my ego a little bit each year is when I start my classes with my students, I get them to play "How old is Mr. Morris?" and they all go like, "Oh, 30, 35." And there's the usual kid who goes 85. But yeah, most of them heavily underestimate my age, so I reckon I'm doing okay. So post-stream, I am going to work out what's rubbing, because something is rubbing. I think it's in this motion system down this arm. And I'm also going to put on the elastic bands just to take any slop out of the system. I don't think there's very much at all, but that will help eliminate it even more. And then I'll just check everything's all tight and working, and we'll finish off the printer assembly. We'll do the software fix for the USB next week. And get that going. Jeff will be 57 this year, getting even closer to the 60. Do you remember when you were young and 25 was like, oh my God, that's so old? When you're a kid, like 25 was just like, wow. The beagles are awake. One of them is out yelling at the neighborhood. Let's check how much longer we've got going, see if it's updated. Still ETA 5:37, so 7 more minutes. Oh, other thing I've been doing, I found a site which helps you generate missing Lego parts if you've got old Lego kits with missing parts. So I've been experimenting with getting a profile for the Prusa set up to allow that. Now 25 is way too young. You're right. 25. It's like, have you even left home yet? Aren't you still living with your parents? Although that's normally for economic reasons rather than anything else. One good thing about having run this and just let it go is we'll know that the system's all bedded in, and we'll know that all the ball joints are bedded in a bit better. Oh, we're starting to do top layers on the back end of the koala. Nice. Keep telling yourself that, Kath. Just scanning chat. Hi, Luke. It's not printing the best, as you can see. We've got a little bit of layer shifting going on, but we think there's some binding in this motion system here. So I'm going to fix that off stream. And it took us a little while to get our delta calibration right. I tried to shortcut it and it wasn't working, so we ended up having to do it a second time. Luke has also got the fix I've been working on, so hopefully he'll get a chance to have a play with it. The biggest thing I've got before I send it out to the world is I want to make sure that my instructions make sense, because when you've been embedded and looking at something for over a week, and all you've been really concentrating on for your ADHD hyperfocus is that, sometimes things you do automatically, you skip in the instruction steps. So I just want to make sure that it's easy to follow for somebody who hasn't been doing it over and over and over again, testing it. I mean, I've reflashed the micro SD for this thing 17 times. We're getting really close. It says we've got about 1 minute 50 seconds to go. Oh, David's just posted a short. Go check it out after my stream and give it a like. So the rear segment is finished. It's just got the front 3 segments to print now. It saves a lot of money not having to buy razors. Razors are so expensive in Australia at this point. I only shave like days I'm working and the night before I stream. Just $20 for a pack of razors. Holy crap. It's going to start pouring down in Florida where Penguin is. Minimum layer times have started to kick in. And we're done. Does he articulate? Not perfectly, but we kind of expected that with the layer shifting. So he's not the prettiest. He did come out okay. So with that, I think we can say we've successfully pushed plastic. Finishing this printer off is going to be tidy up some of the wiring, do the software fix for the USB ports, and fit the elastic bands to make sure that that's not contributing to any shifting. And so that one. Doesn't sound like any individual one is binding. Maybe that one. Now, the reason I can do this is I saw that the printer had just gone into motors disabled. So I knew I was safe to go playing and pulling on the belts, just in case people are worried about what's happening here. And I think once I've got all those cables sleeved up as well, that'll actually tidy things up a bit more. So with that, I think we can say we are 99% of the way there with this printer. We've got it all together. We overcame some hurdles. We removed all the blocked filament. And yeah, so let's go to here. I have been Phil. I have been the Down Under Maker. This has been almost finished of a Delta Flyer. I will catch you all next week. It's time for me to hop on out of here. Bye, guys.